Penguin Random House Audio presents The Out of Sync Child, 3rd edition, Recognizing and Coping with Sensory Processing Differences, by Carol Stock Kranowitz, M.A. Read for you by Ellen Archer. Forward to the 3rd edition. In 1955, A. Jean Ayres, Ph.D., wrote her first article related to the theory of sensory integration. In 1972, her first book was published, and an entire field was launched. Based on her work, Carol Kranowitz, a preschool educator, helped dozens of children who manifested sensory integration (SI) dysfunction with the consultation of an occupational therapist, OT, who had studied Dr. Ayres' work. Dr. Ayres died in 1988, and with her went the knowledge base and energy that only a founder of a new vision can have. Although OTs still practiced and taught courses on SI, the field had lost its leader. In 1998, Carol published The Out of Sync Child, written for parents and teachers. The book was a down-to-earth explanation of 1. The complex theory of sensory integration. 2. The treatment, occupational therapy with a sensory integration approach, OTSI. And 3. The disorder, now called sensory processing disorder, SPD. Her book re-energized the world of SI. Clutching it in their hands, parents came into pediatricians and OTs clinics, saying, "This is my child. We need occupational therapy." Carol's goal was to write a guidebook for parents whose children had sensory processing issues. The popularity of this bestseller demonstrates both her success in achieving that goal and the urgent need for a book of this sort. The Out of Sync Child helps parents discover the missing sensory piece in their kids' puzzle. Relieved, they see that their child's disturbing behaviors or disorganized motor abilities are related to SPD. As one parent put it, the problem is physical, not parental. Parents ask, how could my child's problem have been overlooked for so long? The answer is that few professionals outside of OTs knew about SPD. When Carol's book took off, the picture changed. The Out of Sync Child is on every special needs reading list and in the curriculum of many educational programs. It is the first book that OTs hand to bewildered, frustrated parents when they come to a clinic for answers. Now we have the 3rd edition, with updated definitions, more information about look-alike conditions and children with autism, and a refreshed look at diagnosis and treatment. The explanations of differences in sensory modulation, sensory discrimination, and sensory-based motor abilities provide needed clarification of SPD's subtypes. In her goal to write for non-scientists, Carol has succeeded again. In this decade, I predict that we will see more scientific publications on SPD, its inclusion in standard diagnostic manuals, and more children getting a correct diagnosis and appropriate treatment. We will witness a generation of children with sensory processing differences growing competent and successful at home and school. We will see OTSI accepted by mainstream medical and educational professionals. Carol's contribution to the field has been immeasurable. With her book came understanding and hope where none had been before for thousands of parents. Hope and action, and children with brighter futures and more fulfilled lives. What could be more valuable? Lucy Jane Miller, Ph.D., OTR, FAOTA, Founder Emeritus, Star Institute for Sensory Processing. Author, Sensational Kids, Hope and Help for Children with Sensory Processing Disorder. Introduction. For 25 years, I taught at St. Columba's Nursery School in Washington, D.C. Most preschoolers loved my classes involving music, movement, and dramatic play. Every day, small groups of 3, 4, and 5-year-olds would come to my room to play, move, and learn. They happily pounded on drums and xylophones, sang and clapped, danced and twirled. They shook beanbags, manipulated puppets, and enacted fairy tales. They waved the parachute, played musical follow-the-leader games, and flowed through obstacle courses. They swooped like kites, stomped like elephants, and melted like snowmen. Most children enjoy such activities because they have effective sensory processing, the ability to organize sensory information for use in daily life. They take in the sensations of touch, movement, sight, and sound coming from their bodies and the world around them, and they respond in a well-regulated way. Some children, however, such as Andrew, Ben, and Alice, did not enjoy coming to my classroom. Faced with the challenge of sensory motor experiences, they became tense, unhappy, and confused. They refused to participate in the activities or did so ineffectively, and their behavior disrupted their classmates' fun. They are the children for whom this book is written. In my teaching career, 1976 to 2001, I worked with more than 1,000 young children. Outside of school, I taught music classes for kindergartners in my home. I choreographed children's dances for community performances. I conducted dozens of musical birthday parties. I was room mother, Cub Scout den leader, and team manager for my own son's school and sports groups. Many years of working with children taught me that all children like lively, interesting activities. They all want to join the fun. Yet some do not take part. Why not? Is it that they won't, or that they can't? When I began teaching, the non-participants puzzled me. Why, I wondered, were these children so difficult to reach? Why did they fall apart when it was time to join the fun? Why did Andrew buzz around the room's perimeter while his classmates, sitting on the rug, sang "The Wheels on the Bus"? Why did Ben tap, tap, tap his shoulders when the musical instructions were to tap, tap, tap his knees? Why did Alice flop onto her stomach, too tired to sit up and strike together 2 rhythm sticks? At first, these children annoyed me. They made me feel like a bad teacher. They also made me feel like a bad person when their inattention or disruptive behavior caused me to react negatively. Indeed, on one regrettable occasion, I told a child that turning away and covering his ears when I played the guitar was just plain rude. That day, I went home and wept. Every evening, while preparing dinner or engaging with my sons, I would muse about these students. I could not get a handle on them. They had no identified special needs. They weren't unloved or disadvantaged. Some seemed to misbehave on purpose, like sticking a foot out to trip a classmate, while others seemed to move without any purpose at all, in an aimless or listless manner. Little about their behavior could be classified, except for a shared inability to enjoy the activities that children traditionally relish. I wasn't the only one who was stumped. Karen Strimple, director of St. Columba's Nursery School, and the other teachers were equally puzzled by the same children. The children's parents were often concerned, especially when they compared their child's behavior with that of their other, more together offspring. And if caring parents and teachers were frustrated, how must the children themselves feel? They felt like failures. And we teachers felt that we were failing them. We knew we could do better. After all, since the 1970s, St. Columba's had been mainstreaming into its regular school program a number of children with identified special needs. We were extremely successful with these children. Why were we less successful teaching certain, quote, regular kids with subtle, unidentified problems? We wanted an answer. The answer came from Lynn A. Balzer Martin, Ph.D., a St. Columba parent and a pediatric occupational therapist. Since the 1970s,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?